Redtape is a comedical horror puzzle game that was uploaded to the public in around mid-February of this year. The game was developed by Polaris Studios and was developed by DreadXP. Not much is known about Polaris Studios. In fact, if you search up their name right now on Google, you'll get results for a development group that mainly creates games on Roblox. Instead though, if you take a look at their itch.io page, you'll see that they have made many retro horror games like Midnight Rush, Cardiosomatic, and even, of found footage of Courage the Cowardly Dog game set for the PlayStation 1. Holy shit, bro, No, I gotta cover this game first. DreadXP is a larger known publishing team that's published such games as the DreadX Collection, and even their most recent hit game, The Mortuary Assistant. If you want to see that video, click it down below, it's in my description. Anyways though, when I saw the game get released, I was just captivated by the game's art style. I think this type of paper characters mixed in with a pixelated environment makes the game unique by itself. But when you also mix in the game's literal take on corporate hell, just incredibly fun and entertaining to play. The game is only standing at a couple dozen reviews on Steam, but it seems to be overwhelmingly positive. So with that said, is Redtape a good enough game to play, or should it have stayed in the deepest, darkest pits of hell? Well, sit back, relax, and watch me cover Redtape as I very beautifully copy this picture of this beautiful man. So starting off with the story, you're you, but as an angel. You've apparently betrayed the will of the game master, unbeknownst to you though, and have been sent down to a now corporatized hell. For the rest of eternity, you have to be a 9 to never closing office worker for a business that... Wait, what does this business do anyway? Whatever though, after trying to argue with Virgil, who introduces you to Hell Incorporated, you get a name tag to register yourself as an employee to the company. Good job, you guys made it, congrats on the hiring. Of course though, since you are an angel who claims that you did not deserve to be in hell, I had to come up with the most convincing angel name in the world. So everybody, meet Daemon. Your tasks in hell are to basically follow your superiors and do what they say. And conveniently enough, all demonic superiors, that being Beelzebub, Behemoth, and Baphomet, all want you to either get signatures of all the managers in each floor of hell, or want you to send off letters to the higher-ups of the company. I won't go too in-depth about what happens on every floor exactly, and I won't talk much about the ending without putting a spoiler warning, but the plot for the game is very interesting to say the least. I love how the scary demons that are meant to give sinners an eternity of damnation and suffering to us are just these guys in suits and ties. And what's even cooler is that they act friendly to your face and will give out such hefty promotions to you as you do the literal bare minimum for the company, but these are all still in fact evil demonic beings with evil intentions, but I'll talk about that just a little bit later. The floors in the company are pretty cool too. For all the 9 levels of the building, you can go to the reception area, human resources, dining hall, accounting, customer service, marketing, legal, planning, and administrative. In reality, these are all just representations of limbo, lust, gluttony, greed, wrath, heresy, fraud, violence, and treachery. All of these floors include either really cool scenery to hyperbolize the company, while also representing the sin that coincides with it, or it's also just a really bland area to showcase how fucking bland it is to work at an office job. The characters in Redtape are interesting to talk to as well. All the characters come from historical context, I believe. Some completely flew over my head, but seeing characters like Narcissus fall in love with himself and then get mad when you copy his photo the wrong way, or Minotaur, who was supposed to guard a bridge but absolutely has no clue why. Like, a lot of these historical characters stay very faithful to their own lore, but will have a slight twist in their personalities since they are just office workers after all. Going back to the demonic superiors, a little bit of a spoiler alert here, but the way that they hide their true identity is very well thought out. Their task of making you make the managers sign a letter of recommendation and of work orders, but having it actually just be a way for managers to sign off with the selling of the hellish company was very smart and very subtle. You can find some dialogue about how the managers never even heard of a letter of recommendation before, and it also explains why you were promoted so many times. A fresh face means that coworkers and managers will just have a neutral opinion on you, which doesn't really give them a reason to not help you out. Also, a little side note here, the ultimate boss being Satan, of course, is a very comedic character given the fact that he's just an old man who became so insecure with the corruption of his own company that he himself decided to hide away from the face of the public and to be guarded by the cutest looking Cerberus to have ever existed. These characters are just very well thought out, and I do appreciate talking to them while playing Redtape. But now we get to the part of the video where I explain what I did not like about Redtape, and unfortunately, I really wasn't a fan of the gameplay. Just to let you guys know, this game has no apparent horror elements. It's not a scary game by any any means, more so it is a comedical game, but I'm completely fine with that. A horror premise that's turned into a lighthearted puzzle game, that's not my problem. I in fact really enjoyed that. But the puzzles within the game really sucked. Usually most puzzles can just be solved by walking around and finding items that stick out like a sore thumb, or just talking to random people. In fact, the only time I was stumped on a puzzle, I was supposed to look for a gun, but that was solved because of a dumb bird asshole told me where to find it. A lot, but not all of the puzzles can be found and solved within the floor that you're on, which makes going to the previous floors feel a lot more useless. There's also some parts of the game where you have to do platforming, primarily within the final part of the game, but it really dragged on by the time I was only halfway complete with the platforming. I wouldn't say I was bored out of my mind playing this game though. The comedic aspects within Redtape mixed in with the good looking graphics and the really good background music that makes you sound like you're listening to some elevator music while also very high on LSD really saved this game. But there were indeed times that I felt like more could have been added to make the gameplay feel just not as dreadful. But overall though, this game is pretty solid. It's a 2-hour game from start to finish, and although like I said things can get a little monotonous, everything else within the game is entertaining and worthwhile. I mean, you can't call this game bad if it has heaven being a literal casino. I mean, like, come on, man. But all in all, I think that Polaris Studios do have some rough edges to smooth out, but for this being their first game on Steam, I think this was really good. Is it worth the $6 as advertised on Steam? Well, sure, if you're into puzzle games with a comedic twist, go for it. You'll definitely have a little hee-hee chuckle while playing this game. But what did you guys think of Redtape? Did you guys like it, hate it? Leave it down in the comments below. But other than that, I'm gonna end this video here. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys liked this video, please hit that like button and subscribe. I'm closing in on 10,000 subscribers with this channel, which genuinely means so much to me. But other than that, I will see you all in a later video. Bye for now.